Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you've been well, and I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. That was just a few days ago now when I'm filming this. I think I'll probably try to upload that this week. I had a Black Friday sale. A lot of people ordered stuff, so that'll keep me busy for the next couple weeks, really, if I'm not busy enough. So I appreciate that. Thanks for the support there. So for those that are new here, I have a 2016 Toyota Tacoma. I have videos on almost every aspect of the truck. I actually need to do an updated lighting video because I've added quite a few lights since my last one. So yeah, if you're new here, check out other videos on the channel if you're into Tacoma stuff. This video particularly is going to be about this rack system up here. It's Prinsu Design Studios. I believe the model is called the Cabrack. I noticed I'm a little dark here in frame, but I think you guys will live. It's cold out. I live in Colorado, pretty high elevation in Colorado. It's in the 20s right now. So, I mean, I've experienced colder, but it's cold to be outside filming a video. So if I'm sniffling, that's why. Sorry, but just live with it. So I got this rack about, I don't know, I'd like to say about 6 months ago, I think. I'm not really sure. I'm just pulling that number out of the air, but I think around 6 months ago. So I've had experience with it. I've used it on a bunch of trips. I've set it up and configured it in such a way. So I think now I've had sufficient time with it where I can kind of give my thoughts and feedback, as well as some tips and tricks. And I'll kind of show you how I set it up. It's not going to be an install video, though. If I remember, I'll try to talk about some quick install tips when I was installing it myself, so you can kind of take those. And yeah, this is a video just to kind of give you an idea of the rack system, because I've received dozens and dozens of people that want a review on it. So that's this video. All right, so let's start maybe with some basics. The reason I went with the Prinsu over any other design was because it was, I think, or at least one of the most low profile roof racks available. I don't typically have stuff up on my roof racks. As you can see, this is kind of the normal setup, and I only have a 7-foot garage door. So I wanted to still be able to park it in, and this allows me to do that with, you know, lift and tires and all that stuff. With the roof rack, it starts getting tall, but I can still sit in my 7-foot garage with a little bit of room to spare. Quick update, I am selling my house, and I'm under contract on a new house, primarily to get a bigger garage. So I'm excited about that. I like my house, but I'm gonna sell it, and yeah, so we'll be doing videos in a new house here in a couple of months if all goes to plan. Anyway, the other thing you'll see here is a light bar. This is the newest addition to the rack. This is a Heretic light bar, 40-inch, made in the US. Now the Prinsu rack, you can get this fairing that doesn't have a cutout. That's what I used to have. And you can get a fairing or windshield or whatever you want to call it with the cutout for different size light bars. They actually designed the Prinsu rack around this light bar. So I figured I would go with this light bar, get it installed. And what I love, as you can see here, is it's so low profile. So these brackets are sold from Prinsu as well. You can mount them in a variety of ways. I have them mounted like this. So take a look if you're going to go with this setup. This is going to be the best mount option, in my opinion. You can also mount it to this bar down in here and get a bunch of different heights out of the same bracket. So if you have a taller light bar or a shorter one, there isn't really any shorter ones than this though. But whatever you want to do, this bracket can flip around, can mount here, can turn, can rotate, whatever. And with the couple of holes and the angle, you can get this to work with a lot of different light bars. I have it set up like this because you can see it's high enough to clear. So this isn't blocking much of the light output. It's blocking a tiny little bit, but what it's blocking is stuff that would have hit the hood anyway. So it's really almost a perfect setup. And then what you can see here, what I like is that it is below flush with the racks. A lot of light bars you see won't be like that. This one is, which for me, I'm doing a lot of random home improvement projects and stuff. I will sometimes put stuff that needs to be full height on this rack system. Sorry, my hands are getting frozen. They're probably turning purple. Full height on the rack. With this being below the flush level of the rack, I could put 12, 16 foot pieces of whatever on here and I don't have to worry about it hitting my rack. So that's beautiful. I kind of got sidetracked, so let me go ahead and step back and talk about the rack itself. So these side rails here have kind of some, they're like laser cut aluminum CNC, and they have some various different holes to mount these bars at different locations here. So it's kind of, you can put as many bars up top as you want or as few as you want, and you can kind of slide them around to fit however you'd like to fit them. This piece is what mounts into these channels here. So on the four-door crew cab, I guess, of the Tacoma, you don't need to drill any holes. What I did is, we have this weather stripping. I drilled out the holes for the bolts to go in, but in the Tacoma are already preset nuts basically. So these will go right into the nuts that are already there. So you don't have to drill anything. You're just going into the factory mount locations for, I believe it's for the factory rack. So you have these on both sides. Very nice. Follow the design of the Tacoma. So one on each side. And then up top we have these 2-inch, I believe, by 1-inch aluminum crossbars. Now these have channels in here, and the newer models, anything shipping in the last probably 6 months, I guess, have these cutouts. These cutouts will allow you to drop in accessories without having to take your bar off. So what that means is you can get things like this. Prinsu does sell these. I'll link to them. You can get them on Amazon, just a little bit cheaper than you can get them from Prinsu. Same deal. Has this, drops in the channel, and you can slide it wherever you want and then screw it down and it'll be tight. So that's to tie down stuff with bungee cords or rope or whatever to the roof rack. So you don't have to leave them on all the time, or you can. So these cutouts allow you to drop things in. You can also use this style, that'll fit right down in there, or this, I believe they're 1/4 inch, and those will drop right down in there. This will allow you to hard mount various boxes and stuff, which I'll show you in a second. But what I have actually kind of permanently mounted are these in here. So I just painted the outside black, but it's the same ring as goes in here. But I have them permanently mounted in the 4 corners. You can see there, over there, and back there. These are, again, below flush, but just tie down points that I keep all the time. I also keep some other ones, as you can see in here, kind of strategically located. These ones I keep in all the time, again, because they're below flush and I can use them to tie stuff down. To get those in, you do need to unbolt the bar and slide them in from the edge, because there's only drop-ins on the top. But for stuff that you don't need to keep on there all the time, you can drop it in on the top. I also, in the 4 corners, have these on the outside. What I use for this is to attach my solar awning or hook up whatever other stuff at camp that I might feel like using. So this is a different loop that's threaded, or a different ring that's actually threaded, so that screws in. I'll link to all of this stuff that I'm talking about on Amazon down below, so you can click those and pick them up yourself. And I actually do have a store on Amazon, so sliders come in handy for this reason. Slider plus tire plus Diamondback means I can get it right up on here. Anyway, I did make a store on Amazon where I'm going to be basically compiling all my Tacoma stuff. So if you're ever wondering about that, you can just go to amazon.com/shop/lastlinedefense. The reason I'm getting up here, and my shoes are actually kind of covered in snow, so hopefully I don't slip and fall up here, because I'm kind of parked at an angle. So I'm just up here showing you can actually stand on each of these bars. They'll support your weight. I'm not saying you should necessarily do that. Hey Mike, how's it going? But you can. Don't step on the roof of your truck, because it may not be able to handle that. And then back here we do have the Diamondback cover, which obviously you can stand on. And I did put new racks on this thing due to some feedback from some people. So I'll probably do an update video on what's going on back there. So I will in the future probably do a video on this bar as well as all of the rest of my lighting too. But I have this hooked up. I'll show how I wired it in and my switch setup. I do need to do a full interior video that you guys been asking about too. So a lot of Tacoma stuff coming up if you're interested. So they sell a handful of accessories. Sorry, I got a neighbor dog barking. An awning mount. I do have a CVT awning not mounted. I sometimes throw it on like in the summer if I'm gonna do a longer trip. They make specific awning mounts that hook in here. They also make these things called load panels that will allow you to mount Rotopacks and Max Tracks and all that stuff. I mount my Max Tracks back here, so I don't use the load panels for everything. But I am gonna real quick show you a couple other kind of accessories and things that I use. So you've probably seen this in videos. It's an LLOD waterproof bag. It's a full zipper bag. I like them better than the fold tops. Just they're easier to use, take up a little less space. This I believe is 130 or 120 liter. Anyway, a big bag that's waterproof that if I need to, a lot of times I'll just throw it in the bed of my truck. But if I need to, I throw it up top because like I said, it is waterproof. I'll put light stuff in here, bedding, pillows, whatever. And I really like these bungee cords. So they're kind of like they have a hook on both sides. Sorry, trying to do this with freezing hands. And it cinches down with the rope pull here. Kind of need two hands to do it, but basically you pull that through and it tightens, and then you can pull up on this and that loosens it. They do come very long. I cut these down because I use them specifically for mounting stuff on my roof. I forget what they're called, but I'll link to them down below. So that's a bag I use a lot. And then you've probably seen this case. This is an Era 3 Armory. I believe it's called the Nomad. Maybe I'll do a review on these cases. They are quite expensive, so they're not cheap cases. They're pretty heavy duty, but they have some interesting stuff that makes them, kind of sets them apart from the pack, including this system that allows you to lock multiple ones in place. So when I put this in, I hard mount it, which means you may cringe at this, but you have to drill holes through it. So technically, when there's not a bolt going through and it's not on your roof and whatever, these things are fully waterproof. Obviously, I put holes in them so they're kind of not, but water's not going to get in here when this is on the bottom and there's a bolt going through and it's on the top of your roof rack. So it is still waterproof for all intents and purposes. You could put a little rubber washer in there, which I do. So what it means is you need to put, probably I'd recommend 4, you could even put more holes in here that obviously line up to your slots on your rack. Then this bolt here will go into your crossbars and up through your case. And then on the inside of your case, since I don't keep it up all the time, attach them with wing nuts and usually a lock washer. So that's what's going on to mount that. So this will go through here. The wing nut on the inside holds this thing down. So then you have a relatively low profile roof mounted box. Hopefully I threw some clips in of this mounted up there because I don't feel like getting it up there right now just because it's cold. Now I'm gonna wrap this video up. So anyways, that's another option to hard mount. You can obviously just bungee this on if you want or whatever, but the advantage if you hard mount it is that you can close and open the latches, access the stuff on your roof, close it, leave it on your roof. You don't have to pull this thing off and on. And then also when you lock this thing, it's locked to your roof rack. So aside from people taking off your roof rack entirely, which they could, they can't just steal this if you have it hard mounted and locked, because they cannot access the wing nuts in order to take it off. So those are some options of some stuff you can put on top of your roof rack, but obviously, you know, you can put a rooftop tent on there. I put my rooftop tent on the back, but in a pinch you can put it up on there. My racks in the back, not these ones, did break once, so I did have to put my rooftop tent on top. So it did handle that, but I don't regularly do that. All right guys, I think that wraps it up. I'll link to this like flannel jacket down below because people will ask. Also, these are the beanies that I will be selling. I'm getting them back, I think, this week from the embroiderer. So this one isn't embroidered, but it'll have little LLOD shield mountains here. So look forward to those. I'll do more announcements on those later. Okay. Whew. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new here, get subscribed. If you're not, or if you are, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel out. Leave comments down below for other stuff you want to see videos on. I always take those into consideration when making future videos. So if you ask about it enough, I'll probably make a video on it. Get hooked up on the notification squad so you can catch new videos as soon as they come out. Sorry, a little windy here. Hopefully the mic's not picking up too much. And yeah, until next time, guys, take care.